Okay, this is the last video for chapter 8, and I just want to briefly talk about the word problem pages. So on page 105, you were just using logical reasoning, so that's just using kind of what you know and your common sense to answer the questions based on the things you were learning in the chapter. So you might have had to put things in order to find the answer to a question, to figure out which one was greater or which one was the least. You might have to do some equivalent fractions to figure out those greater than, less than type things. So nobody had any specific questions on any on that page, but on page 106, there were a couple of questions. The first question was number 1, where you had to, it says, find a fraction has a denominator that is 4 greater than its numerator. It is equivalent to 9/15. What is the fraction? Okay, so you have 9/15. In order to find equivalent fractions to 9/15, we need to multiply or divide to get to the equivalent fractions. The easiest way to do this is to get this fraction in lowest terms first and then start finding equivalent fractions to 9/15 by using that lowest terms fraction. So I'm going to divide the top and the bottom by 3, and I'm going to get 3/5. So now that's lowest terms. So now I can actually take 3/5 and start making equivalent fractions. And I'm going to multiply by 2 for the first one. And I'm going to get 6/10. 6/10 is an equivalent fraction to 9/15 because it's an equivalent fraction to 3/5. And it just so happens that 6 is 4 less than 10. So 6/10 is actually the answer to that problem. It was not as hard as it sounded, but you had to know what to do. Okay, the other question that I know people had, or problem that people had questions on, was number 9, which dealt with the pie chart. So it was a pie chart, and we had 4 pineapples, we had 6 oranges, we had 7 apples, and 7 grapes. All right. Okay. So, how many total pieces, or how many total items were we dealing with in this problem? So if I do 4 plus 6 is 10, 7 plus 7 equals 14. So when I add those up, I get 24. So there were a total of 24 fruits that I was working on in this problem. Okay. The question is asking, did more than or less than 1/8 of the people prefer pineapples? So if we think of this pie chart in terms of fractions, everything is going to be over 24. So 4 over 24 for the pineapples, 6 over 24 for the oranges, 7 over 24 for the apples, and 7 over 24 for the grapes. Okay, so now what I need to do is I need to figure out an equivalent fraction for 1/8 that matches all of these fractions. So 1/8, I need to get a denominator of 24. How am I going to do that? What times 8 is 24? 3. So it's going to be 3/24. So 1/8 is equivalent to 3/24. So is 4/24 more or less? Sorry, is 4/24 more or less? It is more. That means more than 1/8, like pineapple. So we just had to take that pie chart and put it in terms of fractions, and then it's just a matter of finding that equivalent fraction for 1/8 and then comparing them. So if you find that you have any other questions on those 2 word problem pages, please let me know. We're going to do a little bit more practice with lowest terms and factors, and then we are going to move on to the next fraction chapter. So look for those assignments tomorrow, and have a great afternoon.